Hey guys, Joe Tunney here at Infiniti of Kirkland, just outside of Seattle, Washington, in Kirkland, Washington, taking a look at probably my favorite car in the entire Infiniti lineup, that is, and it's a 2010 Infiniti G37 coupe 6-speed. Now, coupes are great, but coupes with a 6-speed are a completely different car, completely different driving experience, and although all coupes are wonderful, with a 6-speed, it's a complete game changer. Now, this car has 328 horsepower, and it's not a very big car. However, it's an extremely strong car, and so you combine lightweight, extremely strong build quality, and big, huge horsepower with a manual transmission, and you have a recipe for a lot of fun. This is one of the fastest, most amazing to drive sports cars on the market at any price, but as inexpensive as G37s are, and then considering the resale value on these is clearly best in class, and best in class by a wide margin. The G37 6-speed coupe is one of the best buys you'll ever make. Even if you buy a terrible one, it's a lot better than buying a nice version of something else. This particular car, black on black, so probably the #1 best-selling color combination, and then the sport package. Now, all manual transmissions are sports packages. With an automatic transmission, you have to pay extra for the Type S. All 6 speeds are Type S, and you can tell right away by the big alloy wheels, and they're offset, which means they're bigger in the back than they are in the front. And so this car has navigation, it's absolutely loaded, and it has 25,001 miles. And we love 25,001 miles, and I'm sure somebody drove this around a little bit to make sure it crossed over to 25,001 miles, because the rule at Infiniti of Kirkland is anytime any of our cars that are Infiniti and within 10 years or newer, and they have less than 100,000 miles, if they're within 5,000 miles of their major service, we do it at no expense to the customer. So the major 30K service has been done 4,999 miles in advance. So about $1,000 savings to the next buyer. And any other car you buy with 25,000 miles, you come in and get your first oil change and they hit you up for $1,000 service, you're not going to be too happy. This one, the next major service isn't due until 60,000 miles. Speaking of 60, the car is still under bumper-to-bumper factory warranty. It's 4 years, 60,000 miles on that bumper-to-bumper warranty. Plus it has an additional powertrain warranty, which takes it all the way to 6 years from new, 70,000 total vehicle miles. Let's pop the hood and take a look at the source of this car's mischief. Infiniti's 3.7 liter powerhouse with variable valve timing. Now, believe it or not, for as fast as this car is, it still enjoys about 25 miles per gallon on the freeway. And then the platform itself is considered an FN platform, or front midship platform. It's been that way with Infiniti since 2003, when the first G series sedans and coupes came out. What that means, front mid-engine platform, is that the 50+% of the weight of the engine is behind the front axle. Kind of like how a Porsche Boxster is a rear mid-engine car, where most of the engine sits in front of the rear axle. This is just the opposite of that. Why that's relevant is that this car, by putting more of the weight towards the center of the vehicle, allows for more crumple zones, allows for more safety. In fact, this enjoys the single best safety rating of any performance car sold in the United States in this category. But it also makes for an extremely balanced car. This car has about 51% of its weight in the front and 49% of its weight in the back. So as soon as you sit in the car, you're essentially at a 50-50 weight distribution, which is considered ideal just for cruising around town, and certainly for driving fast. If you like to really seek thrills and really explore the potential of what a real dynamite race car is all about, this is the car that you want to do it in. Outside, this car looks brand new. No scratches, scuffs, door dings, dents, nothing. One of the drawbacks of the sport package are these wheels. They look nice. They're made by Anki. They're very high quality, but they stick out. And so a lot of times you'll see these wheels really beat up. Now I see a little bit of chafing here. I'm going to call it about an inch, inch and a half, but nothing to really write home about. The side of the car looks fantastic. The rear wheels, they look like new. Now, because it's a sports package, you get these big side bolstered seats with two-tone stitching. Now, whenever you have a big side bolster, these heavy bolsters here and these bolsters right here, one of the concerns that you have is if you have a heavier driver, as amusing as it may sound, a heavier driver will sit on top of these cushions and won't fit in between the cushions themselves. And so this will be really squished down heavily. And you see a lot of these two-doors with really beat up driver's seats, and there's just about nothing you can do with it. And so when you see one that's pure and original and just like brand new, that's great, and it's rarer than you might think. Now, all 6-speed, since they all are sports packages, they're all premium packages as well. And so you have tilt steering, and then if you notice the tilt steering column, as it goes up and down, the entire gauge assembly goes up and down with it. So the steering wheel never blocks your line of vision. Now, one of the complaints is, well, if I'm going to get a sports seat, then I'm never going to really be that comfortable. To offset that, this premium package comes with telescopic steering as well. So you can really maneuver the chair in a way that best suits your lower back, your arms, your shoulders, so you don't get fatigued on a long drive, and then bring the steering wheel to you rather than being forced to put the chair in a way where your hands can reach where the wheel is. And then sport pedals as well, aluminum fascia throughout the center console, the door trim, the door handles, and what have you. Great Bose stereo system. Sometimes Bose stereo systems are a little bit hit and miss. It works really, really well in the two-door Infiniti particularly. Taking a look in the back. Now, the sedans in this same car do not have fold-down rear seats. Why that is, nobody knows, but they don't. And so sometimes a coupe can actually be a more practical buy than a sedan. The platform, the wheelbase, they're all pretty much identical, and so rear seat legroom is pretty decent. It's going to be cramped, admittedly, for full-grown adults, but if you have kids or some part-time use in the back seat, it's really not that big of a deal. However, because it does have a fold-down rear seat, you can load it up with way more gear than you can in a sedan, so a surprising advantage. A lot of people like to do a little bit of golfing. You and a friend, you want to load up your clubs. You can actually do 2 sets of golf clubs side to side so long as you take the driver out, but you can put a lot more in the car with that rear seat folded down. Parking sensors, the whole rear bumper looks quite nice. Again, this is a car that not only has low miles, but is in really, really nice condition. Again, if we look at the wheels, that's always the #1 concern on these sport package wheels. Do they have any curb rash or anything like that? These wheels look quite nice. The paint looks exquisite. Let's take a look inside. Now, of course, this car has a lot of safety features. It has traction control, anti-lock brakes, and what have you. All modern cars are going to have airbags in the front, airbags in the sides. This one has every kind of modern safety advantage that you can have. But one safety advantage that is definitely unique to the G37 Coupe is its amazing handling and its ability to get out of a jam before you get into a jam. The handling on the G37 Coupe is as good as any car you've ever driven in your entire life. And I don't mean that facetiously. Obviously, we've taken a lot of exotic cars in on trade, and we take every kind of Ferrari, Maserati, you name it, and those are wonderful cars, and they're expensive cars, and they're a thrill to own and be seen in. Of course, it goes without saying. But in many ways, they're still not any better than a G37 Coupe, especially with the 6-speed transmission. These cars aren't quick. These cars are flat out muscle car fast, but they handle like nothing you've ever driven before. G37 Coupe is one of the single most exciting cars, not just in this price range, but really in the entire marketplace under, say, $50,000. If these were much more expensive, they would still be a good deal. Then the warranty, it's so robust, you don't have to worry about anything at all. The service, the major service already being done, the tires, the brakes, everything's like new on this car. This is a car, if you're really serious about quality, this is the one you want to take a good long look at. If you have any questions at all, if you want me to send any different photographs or different videos, if you'd like to take a look at the undercarriage of the car, anything at all, I'm happy to fax the service records directly to your office. Whatever you need, I'm here to say yes. Please don't hesitate to give me a call. My name's Joe Tunney here at Infiniti of Kirkland. Direct number is 425-821-1600, or just drop me an email anytime at joet@infinitiofkirkland.com.